This is Hardy Brute, and today I'm going to be playing Autogun Heroes Supercharged. Now this game has a lot going on for it. There's individual missions which will reward items. Each character and hero has its own unique abilities, and they can be equipped with an armor, a unique weapon, a turret. You start the game with the assault rifle, but we've just unlocked the shotgun, so let's do a run with that. The game is in Autogun Heroes, so your gun will shoot automatically as soon as you get close to an enemy. There's a double jump, there's a roll, and there's also a stomp attack as well. The shotgun is already quite a bit better than the assault rifle, just because it can shoot multiple bullets and do multiple damage. There are also healing orbs that fall from the sky from enemies when you kill them, but they only last a certain duration. As you can see in the top corner, there's 14 areas, and each threat has at least 4 zones. So let's check out our turret. We also just unlocked this as well. The Tesla Coil. It does automatic damage in that little circle. It lasts for a certain duration. And just like with our ability, which is a shield to block a bullet or two, it seems to recover its cooldown when we damage the enemies. This game was originally a mobile game, and it does have some mobile elements to it, but I can't imagine playing this game without a controller. Your entire goal is to dodge the bullets to get damage in and keep your life up, trying to make it to the end. The healing is limited, and dodging with a controller is much easier. There's also progression and level up systems. At close range we do more damage. That's our entire build right now anyways. We literally can't hit them far away. The main aspects that still feel like mobile to me are the missions, but that's not the worst thing, it's still progression. We're actually able to one-shot some of these guys with the increased damage, if we hit them with enough bullets. So let's move on to the next section. I like the variation in enemies, the guns, the equipment. You can find armor, weapons, belts, all sorts of things just on the ground from enemies. It's not always just from the elites. And oftentimes at the end of each area there's a boss or a threat you have to kill, leading to a big boss. So let's check out the shop. More max health, you reflect damage, or you get to heal after each room. I think the healing will help us get to the end. And we're out of gold, so let's move on. We have to remember to use our turret as well. And we do 69 damage when we're up close. Originally we did about 58. The little pink spiky ball is actually used for meta progression. You can upgrade your character's skills, give them a higher jump, more stomp damage, things like that, which go across all heroes. You can also upgrade your guns, your equipment. There's all sorts of things to progress with. So we took 36 damage, but we're going to heal about 30 each room. And one of our biggest holdbacks right now is probably that we only have about 5 bullets. Although we do a lot of damage. And there's an armor. We're not able to equip it till we start a whole new mission, a whole new threat. But as soon as you get the base item, a lot of the items I've seen so far are pretty similar. So they give about 50 health, 55, 56, things like that. The progression is kind of small. And they usually have an ability. A little bit of cooldown, a little bit of jump. But we've only been able to see the common, and sometimes the uncommon items. But you unlock more the higher threat you get. Now there's blue bouncing bullets from the floaters. It's not too threatening. You do have to watch where you bounce though. Stomping does a lot of damage, but it also puts you into the danger zone. And we leveled up. More fire rate, more damage, invincibility. Let's get even more damage. So we were doing 69 damage. We do 63 when we're not close. And now we're doing up to 76, nice. The assault rifle was doing about 90, I think, per shot, and it wasn't firing all that fast. I do like that at the end of the level, you suck up all the coins, but you don't get the health packs. But we're back to full life, and that's our main concern here. Just trying to maintain our health. Because there are 2 more zones after this one. And you can only unlock the next threat if you successfully beat this threat. All of the bouncing bullets. They actually do quite a bit more damage than running into the enemies. 44. 29 heal. It seems like the health heals you a percentage, so it heals you about 5% of your max health. So we can heal, we can make our bullets bounce, and damage you receive is reflected. I really don't want to get damaged. So let's get the bouncing bullets. Even though our bullets don't travel very far, it is better than nothing. Nice, we got the turret right next to his face. This was the only enemy I've fought so far. And it was quite a bit easier with the assault rifle, just because you could stand far away and shoot them. But you do a lot more damage with the shotgun. So as long as we skirt around him and don't take too much damage. We did get about half health. And going on to the next zone. You don't heal zone from zone. So that 5% max health heal is going to be really good for us. I got about halfway through this area last time I played, but because I didn't have any heals, I didn't have any way to recover, I just slowly died. And now they're shooting rockets, I see. At least they travel very slowly. But we're already off to a better foot just because we can heal. Because of our damage is so good. And we're almost back up to full. We're about 200 short. And we get to keep all of our past zone upgrades. So getting good shops early on is pretty important. It feels really good when we just one-shot the guys. I hope we can get a bit more damage upgrades. Alright, now this guy is shooting tracking bullets. Tracking globs. That do 40 damage, wow. But we're still steadily healing. We're almost up to full health. And it's nice to take out the guys before they actually attack. But once again, it really depends on your damage. I wasn't a big fan of the assault rifle. It felt a bit slow. It was individual bullets. And let's see what we get for the level up. Fire 2 additional bullets diagonally. That's just going to be a bigger spread for our shotgun. That's pretty cool. And it's 2 additional bullets. And we only fire 5 to 8 bullets in the first place. So let's say 25-40% damage increase. Which would be really good for the bosses. I am not a big fan of these tracking gloves. And that was a great turret. So we healed up quite a bit of damage, but we also took a lot of damage. So there's just a barrage of green bullets, and then a slow-moving missile. Nice, this looks fun. We can use our shield for a change. I'm not the biggest fan of the shield. It doesn't last all that long, it's only a few seconds. But it is better than not having an ability. Say so many tracking bullets and there's just one guy shooting them. So let's move on and see what this shop has. Bullets bounce an additional time. We get the Flame Boy net. What is this going to be? Or you can heal. I don't understand why you'd buy the healing, unless you're just about to die. But it's kind of a waste of gold. Alright, the Flame Boy net looks awesome. And you have to physically touch them to do damage, but you can also just add it to your stomp. If you just aim down. It does about 70, 80 damage, yeah. It does a lot of damage. Quickly, too. Flame Boy net was a really good choice. Now there's a bunch of spikes on the ground and snipers. A ton of floaters. At least they didn't do the shotgun attack. Take out the crawlers, and we got a gun. Nice. The spikes also only do 12 damage. Now that's pretty tiny compared to the actual enemies doing damage. Would much rather take a spike to the face. Sections seem to be getting a bit more complex, a bit more traps, a bit more variety in the enemies. Becoming harder and harder not to take a little bit of damage each round. Even though there's a decent amount of healing. And of course we have to get really close to the enemy to even do damage. So we have to bounce around quite a bit. Those tracking bullets last forever. That one tracked me the entire time. I thought they eventually timed out. Maybe they have to hit something. Besides me. We level up again. Bullets can pierce through enemies. Weapon range increases. Let's get their weapon range increase. That won't help our increased damage, but it will make our damage more consistent. Wow, there's just a slew of snipers. That looks really cool when they all aim for you, though. And with our trusty Flamonette, we can destroy these enemies when we get close. And we can stay out of the danger zone with a bit more range, too. And we're pretty much back up to full life. Even when we take all that damage. Throw our turret down. See them regret all of their choices. And try to take out the floaters before they do too much spread shots. And it sucks in the equipment too, that's really nice. Found another shop. Fire even more diagonal bullets. That's just the level up of the skill we already have. Increase your max health, I can't afford that one. That would be incredible since all the healing seems to be percentage based. So this is the final threat of this zone. This one is actually quite a bit easier. Seems like he's spawning enemies though. But we're not trapped outside that box, having to get inside just taking damage from it. He does do a lot of spread shots though. Needs one more big shot, there we go. And you have to kill the individual enemies too before you can actually leave. So we completed that zone. So we completed 2 of 4 zones. We've gotten quite a bit stronger with the level ups and passives. And now we're in an ice area. I've never been to this area before, so I have no idea what these enemies are going to do. But apparently a big spread shot. The snipers seem to have followed us. Nice, we took the sniper to the face. We're gonna have to be a lot more careful to heal and survive. These guys do a little circle attack. It's really not too threatening. So let's take out the floater. I have a big jump there. We still took the bullet to the face. 60 damage is a lot. But we're back up to 400. It's about 10% of our health damage every time we take a hit. I wasn't able to kill the floater. Nice, double health. Triple health. We're back in the game, boys. There's a lot of health at the middle, and we're back to full health. I guess the biggest threat is if we're going to be able to kill the boss without dying. 20% damage after you roll. Their bullets bounce, your fire rate improves. Let's get the fire rate for now. I would almost rather have reload. I think our reload is a little bit long. But you can feel the fire rate. The fire rate feels nice now. We were firing a bit slow before. Ooh, they have their own shotguns now. Those are going to be really hard to dodge. I'm moving on to the next area. There's a sniper guy and a shotgun guy. He does 48 damage. And if you don't kill him right away, he's definitely going to hit you, yeah. At least there are plenty of healing orbs. Found another shop. When you're stationary, enemies move slower. Let's get the max health. And let's get the crit next time if we can afford it. Because ever since I got to this zone, I've been taking a lot more damage. So let's drop our turret. And we're seeing the elite snipers for the first time. They actually do a barrage attack, not just a single bullet. It's still not all that threatening though. So they still take the time to aim for you. Now the chompers charge at you in the air? I see. It is a bit hard to tell the difference between some of the enemies. They look very similar sometimes. Just a bunch of snipers. Double shotguns? Yeah, double shotguns. At least we only took one bullet. Avoid the sniper. Get the health. And we're back to max. We were never in the danger zone. It was all just pretend. I do like the chompers though, because they kind of just come towards you and ask to die. And your normal movements kind of just help you dodge easily. So one last guy here in the corner. And we got 669 health. Nice. We are just eating those bullets in the face. Let's take this opportunity to take out the shotgun guys before they notice us. These crawling guys too, they're not really a threat when they don't know you're there. Ooh, the flying chomp got us. It's all over. And we leveled up again. Damage is reflected, slower enemies. Let's get even more max health. So now we're going to heal 12%. And that is about 80 per map. And some of these bulls do about 60. Yeah, there was a 58. So they sent in their ground force while they have the air force hitting us from the top. Some of these maps are pretty creative. Just a bunch of single target flyers. And move on to zone 12. And took more damage, nice. This area is a big area. Take out the snipers, try to kill the shotgun guy. And I got a nice little prison for you guys. I'm sure you'll love it. Now that turret destroyed them. And one last shop. Take 10% less damage or get crit. I can actually afford both of these. And I don't think I'll ever buy the heal. And now we're fighting the boss, a big UFO. We actually haven't seen the UFO as a small enemy. So it does slow bullets and a fast barrage. That fast barrage is really hard to dodge. But the bullets just come out so quickly. But he's actually switching back between slow and fast, slow and fast. And he is dead. So we have to clear the map. It looks like I've got a new item for the first time. I'm not sure what that is. And we were able to grab quite a bit of those health globes before our ship showed up. And now we're moving on to the final zone. So now there are turrets, and they shoot the blue bouncing bullets. And they have no protection when you jump on their head. A barrage attack? The chompers are still here. A lot of the enemies from the last zone, the snow zone, are here. With new ones as well. Double bouncing bullets. This could get annoying. And a lot of chompers. Ooh, and this guy does a big area effect explosion. He's the upgraded version of this little one over here. I'm glad we're going to heal 12% each time now. We really need that to survive. Still took a bit more damage. This guy fires pretty quickly too. Another turret, a bunch of chompers. I think you're damage immune for a little bit when you roll as well. There are hero upgrades so that you can roll in the sky, you can roll longer, You're more damage immune. Let's see what our level up is. We can dodge. Rolling gives us defense. We can fire more bullets. We only have 5 bullets, so let's get the dodge. Firing more bullets with most any other gun probably would have been a benefit. But all that'd make us do is just reload all the time. So many spread shots. Yeah, that's a lot of turrets too, man. And the bouncing bullets. And they have the barragers. Look at all the bouncing bullets down there. Be easy when I'm on top here. We are at the starting difficulty, so we can only find common and uncommon equipment, but it'd be interesting to see how the threat level changes the dynamic. Do the enemies simply get a buff? Or do all their stats increase? Are there actually new enemies and new bosses? Because I would much prefer new content over just a small buff to stats. It's the same thing with the unique, elite, legendary gear. Is it really going to be all that different? Or it's just going to be a stat boost? Let's see what this shop has. We can become invincible every 16 seconds. Everything is slower when we're stationary. We're never going to be stationary. At least the invincible gives us something. We shot a bunch of purple guiding bolts. These guys are incredibly easy because they don't have any ranged attacks. And we healed all the health that we got damaged from. These mushroom guys are the basic version of the elite we just fought. So they should do the combination of the purple bullets and the direct bullets. Yeah, there's the purple bullets. But the purple ones guide. At least a little bit. Let's throw the turret and hopefully kill those, yeah, the big blasters. They're at least at half health. It's so hard to dodge their bullets. Especially when our range is so tiny. But at least they don't bounce, and they get stopped by walls. So he kind of screwed himself there going into the corner. You fool. We've only got a few more levels and then we have to fight the boss. We've been able to maintain our health too. So I'm not too worried that we're gonna fail. Unless we suddenly start taking lots and lots of damage. But even so, we still healed back up to almost 600. The spikes really aren't that bad, but they do look really cool. But they're the least threatening thing in the room. How did we get hit by 2 spikes there? That is not fair. I keep trying to burst the blasters down before they trigger, but they have just a lot of health. I wouldn't say our damage is falling off, they're just getting bigger stats than we have. This map in particular is terrible for us. All the enemies hit in the corners, and just out of our range. Bullets bounce off walls. Stomp, you get a crit, or just a basic crit. Let's get the stomp and you get a crit. I do stomp quite a bit. And it can stack as well, so it can actually get stronger than up to 15%. He spawned right on my turret. That's pretty cool. I'm going to be trying to play a bit more safe right now. Just because we've almost completed the threat. We're going to fight the boss. And I really don't want to restart all over again. Because you can't go on to threat 2 unless you beat threat 1. This game is pretty fun with the controller, and it does work pretty good on the computer. But you can kind of feel some of the mobile elements that are still in the game. Just the progression system and the collecting the items that are very similar. You're definitely not paying for them anymore since you bought the game outright. But collecting 5 different assault rifles that are just barely different. That definitely is a mobile feel. It's still a lot of fun. Man, there's just so many bullets going on. Look at all of these guys dropping health packs too. Nice, we finally killed that guy before he shot us. It's the first time. And with 15% and how many bullets we shoot at once, you see quite a bit of crits. So we can get max health, we can get increased crit. I want the crit, but I'm going to take the health just so we complete the threat area and the boss. And we can't afford the crit anymore. But that's fine. We're up to 650, and this is the boss. It's a chomper, huh? That's actually pretty easy. Although I cannot jump because of these spike walls. And I do not like the turrets in the corner. It was about to become a lot more dangerous when the floor was getting destroyed. But now we just have to kill the turrets in the corner? Why are the enemies still spawning? I thought they stopped when the boss died. I'm not a big fan of that. So we completed the threat area level 1 in about 30 minutes. And we got a participation ribbon, let's go. Completed some missions. We did 360,000 damage. Received 5.6k damage. Killed about 600 enemies. And we unlocked a new hero. He comes with a poison stomp and the cannonball ability. So when he touches enemies, they take damage. We found some more shotguns, some more rifles, and the RPG. The shotguns are just better because it's got built-in crit or reload. If I did another run, I'd probably play with the RPG. We also got some uncommon armor with life nectar and melee resistance. So these are similar stats, they're just buffed up. And we got our first belt too. With defense and melee resistance. So I hope you enjoyed. This game feels a bit grindy, but it's still quite fun. Later.